Mr. Speaker, today I rise to voice my support for H.R. 4557, the BRIC Act. I want to tell a story about a small company in my hometown of Selma, Alabama. Henry Brick Company has been a family-owned business since 1945, providing jobs and economic support to the Black Belt of Alabama. In 2003, the EPA passed a rule requiring Henry Brick Company, along with all other brick and structural clay manufacturers, to reduce their air pollutants emissions. In order to meet these new regulations by 2006, Henry Brick Company of Selma, Alabama, spent $1.5 million to come into compliance with the rule. This was a major financial burden for this small company, but Henry Brick Company is a good corporate citizen and understands the importance of protecting our environment. However, 1 year after they spent $1.5 million, the court vacated the EPA's 2003 regulation. So the EPA went back to the drawing board to create a new rule. But the EPA did not give these brick companies credit for emission reductions achieved under the previous rule. On the contrary, in their new rule, the EPA actually used the emission reductions achieved under the vacated rule as the baseline for further reduction requirements. Now Henry Brick Company faces a new brick and clay manufacturing rule with even stricter emissions requirements and must come into compliance by December 2018. This time, the small company may have to spend up to $8 million to comply with the new emission standards, leaving Henry Brick Company one step closer to being forced to close their doors. I am supportive, Mr. Speaker, of reducing emissions, and I'm also in favor of protecting our environment. But this must be done in an economically viable way. It is simply unfair for regulators to continue to move the goalposts on small brick manufacturers like Henry Brick Company. That is why I am supporting this legislation. I ask the gentleman for one more minute, please.
I yield an additional minute to the
Gentlelady is recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you. That is why I support this legislation to delay the enforcement of the new EPA rule until all of the legal challenges have been concluded. This is necessary and common sense bill, and I ask my colleagues to vote yes on final passage. I want to thank Representative Johnson of Ohio. I want to thank all of those that are working hard to make sure that small brick companies like Henry Brick Company of Selma, Alabama, do not have to close its doors. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I yield back the balance of my time.